It's Annalisa, and I'm here with my gorgeous, cherubic, lovely baby doll, Maddie.
Hello.
He has his own YouTube channel. It's ItsTheMattyG, which we can link at the end of this video over there. What we've done is our very own tag. It'll be fun. What we're doing is a list of 10 total firsts. So it's all your first experiences. We did 5 already on his channel. So
I'm feeling very posy in this video apparently.
You did your pageant face. Cool.
Cool.
So we did the first half of it. We did 5 firsts on his. We did like first pet, first travel experience, first love, first kiss, and all them things. So if you want to see that video, we'll link it at the end. So this is the follow-up, and we're gonna start with first job.
Let's see, my legitimate first job was actually the summer before college. Okay. And I'm a performer, so I work performer. You can find me on some certain websites. Just kidding, don't go searching, you will not find it.
You'll find nothing.
You'll find nothing, I promise. I worked for Six Flags, the theme park, and I was a singer slash dancer in their shows, which one was a Broadway show, and one was a country show. And that was a damn treat. So it was like a really kick-ass job to have right before college. Yeah. And it paid super well. Like it wasn't like I was like, you know, doing some like really crappy job at like, you know, anywhere else. It was a good learning experience. So
I like it.
Thumbs up for first jobs.
My first legit job for a company was hostessing for a restaurant called Cheeseburger in Paradise in...
Is that Jimmy Buffett?
It was Jimmy Buffett themed, yeah. And I loved it because I am a huge Jimmy Buffett fan.
Okay, I grew up with Jimmy Buffett,
legit
so...
parrot head. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it makes sense that if I am, you are too.
I know, because we're the same person.
And so I was like, oh, I have to work there. I was a weird kid.
That's No, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. The first place you lived after you moved out of your parent or whoever you were living with family, the first place that you lived.
So the first time I moved was when I went to college, and so I was actually still 17 at the point because my birthday is at the end of August, so I'd started school already. And I moved on campus, and it was like an apartment style, which is cool. I moved in with one of my best friends, Nick, and it was cool. We shared like a bedroom, but then we had our own like full bathroom and our own little kitchen and like living room area. So it was like my like little friends group. We called it the apt, you know, for like apartment.
The college I was going to at the time, you had to have 3 roommates living together in one bedroom, in one dorm style. It was not an apt style. It was not apt style living, unfortunately, because when I first moved in, I was partnered. I just got assigned because I didn't know anybody I was going to school with. Yeah. And they assigned me into a dorm with 2 girls that were best friends and sophomores, and I was a freshman, and so not only was I new to the school, but they had already
knew each other,
friends, like, best friends.
That can be really annoying.
At the end of the first semester, one of them moved out because them beesies couldn't stop fighting.
Naturally.
As girls do. There
she goes.
There that bitch is. Hey Sarah Vaughn, how you doing? First crush.
So I would say it was definitely like my best friend Marilyn, which like we were like best friends like all through like high school and everything. We went to different colleges, so we've kept in touch a little bit. But yeah, I think it was like definitely her because she was like my best friend, you know.
My first crush was a foppish boy.
A foppish lad.
Named Jad. Not Chad, Jad.
Like J-A-D.
J-A-D, Jad. His
unacceptable.
Muy sophisticato mother had a safety pin through her belly button. That's what I remember that vividly.
That's like the worst thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's like horrendous to look at. And she like the short hair. It was like the 90s, so it was.
Oh yeah.
There was some scary things going on there. So my mom, I think, didn't really want me hanging out with Jad and his family.
Which, you know, I can understand.
Starting to put the pieces together as to why. But yeah, I was crazy about Jad. We were gonna get married.
Of course. And you still are.
Obviously. So, okay, so that was crush, and then first date.
So my first date actually was with my ex that I talked about in
your video.
In my video.
The first half of this sequence of questions.
And it was actually a really good date though. Like, well, like we really
What'd you do?
We went to dinner, and then it was like on the river, and so then we went and like sat along the river and like literally like talked for like 3 hours, and just kind of played like 20 questions, which really was like 200 questions, and just kind of like made it a game or something, just to get to know each other, like literally just ask questions back and forth. It's actually like a really good date. Yeah.
My first date that I can, the only first date that I remember was at this guy that I was into for a little while in high school, and my stepmom dropped me off at his house, and we watched Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler in his basement. And I had the sweatiest of palms because I was terrified he was going to hold my hand, and then he did. I was a really cool kid. I was a goody goody. And so I was terrified to hold his hand, and so I had the sweatiest hand, and I kept trying to like hide it, like wiping it off, and I was like, oh, I'm gross. And
palmy.
Yeah, and then we held hands to Mr. Deeds.
A very romantic choice of
it was sweet.
Really, Adam Sandler really gets the juices flowing.
Last final category, the winner. I have a great story for this.
Oh my gosh.
And by great, I mean devastating. Breakups. First breakup.
My first breakup was also with my ex that I've mentioned like 400 times, because this is my first serious relationship.
Right.
And I'm not gonna go
Lots of firsts go together.
Yeah, lots of firsts go together. It was, I will just say, it was like a really hard breakup. It was rough. Like rough. And it took a long time for us to like move past it, you know? We're definitely friends now, like we're totally cool. I mean, this has been like 3 years ago, so we're definitely like cool now, you know, and we're definitely friends, like no hard feelings, but it took a long time, you know. It takes time to like move past something like that.
What started out so good went so bad. I was told at the end of the tumultuous 6 months that he wanted to be single, which both he and I knew meant that he wanted to be with
other ladies.
His best friend Jenny. I forgot to mention, so he was a few months younger than me and hadn't gotten his driver's license yet, so this is pivotal to the story. And so he called me and he said, hey, come pick me up, because I had my driver's license. And so I went to his house and picked him up, brought him to my house.
They went back to her house.
Where he told me he broke up with me at my house.
After she had driven him.
After I had picked him up, brought him to my house, he came, broke up with me, and then wanted to be driven home. So I'm convulsing in tears, losing my shit, and we get back to his place, and I start hyperventilating and getting sick. Like, sick to my stomach. I'm losing it. I start having an asthma attack.
Every possible, like, stress-related trigger.
Worst, everything. Like, I was getting palpitations. Like, it was awful. And so I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm gonna be sick. And he's like, he's like a 16-year-old douchey guy. He's kind of like, what do you? Like, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't understand. My whole world is like collapsing. And now I look at it and I'm like,
you're like, what the hell is wrong with me?
God. But this is bad and totally unexpected. And by that I mean there were definitely clear indicators leading all the way up to it that I chose to ignore. And so I get sicker and sicker, and then we're sitting there on his front lawn after me driving him home, sobbing, begging, debasing myself, looking like
just groveling
an
like
asshat. And I go, I mean, he's sick. And he's like, oh, you should get out of your car. And I walk over to his side yard and vomit on his side yard. And a little bit his shoe.
Just adding insult to injury.
Adding insult to injury, I made a total ass of myself. Like, just
puking all over
I vomited.
His yard, his shoes.
Yeah.
I just want to see a video of that.
I know, like, why was that not captured? Because it was so caricature-ish, like, so absurd. And even afterwards, I was like, maybe that was a bit much.
Maybe that was a bit much. Maybe I should have puked all over his side yard. You know.
And I just love that I had to go pick him up to hear this news.
That's the best part. That like
then take him home.
You had to pick him up because he couldn't drive yet. To bring him to your house, and he didn't bother to like break up at his house.
Right.
And you could have just driven home. Like,
why did you come here?
There was a car ride back to his place, and then again back to your house.
It was, oh my god. It was crazy, and like,
but now it's just
it's given me an amazing story. And I tell my friends who break up and say, well, you know what? You may have been embarrassed by being broken up with, but guess what?
But did you puke?
Did you puke
in
on
someone's
him?
side yard on his shoes?
On his shoes.
Did you do that?
So So on that lovely note, that's our tag.
The perfect way to end that. Just keep that little image in your head.
Yeah, that was. You're welcome, world.
You're so welcome.
But yeah, so that's our list. It's basically a two-parter video.
We have 5 questions on my channel as well, and we'll have you click on my face now.
Click here on his beautiful cherubic face. Pageant face.
So click there now. It'll link you over to my video. Yeah, and also while you're on her channel right now, of course, below like the video, subscribe, which is, as we said, down below now. You now know a lot more about us and our firsts and why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching. We're so normal.